It feels kind of weird that Expert is feeling so easy, especially since having done Master and knowing that that can get quite difficult at times. It feels like the difficulty between the two is a little jarring. I've kind of covered this before. I've talked about this at length, actually. A part of it, I believe, is the leveling speed compared to item drop speed. And in Expert or in Master, you're leveling so much faster because of the increased monster experience gains. And because you're leveling faster, you're finding less items per level, and therefore you have less of a chance to upgrade your gear as you go. And I've seen that. Like, whenever I've done that on softcore, I have to craft like every other level to make sure I'm not falling behind. Yeah. Oh man, I do remember in one of those Witch Doctor videos, I remember running into one of those elite packs of scavengers. Oh my god, I hate scavengers. They are the bane of my existence. And I just remember dying multiple times. I had to edit the video because I was dying too much. I was like, yep, I can't get past this without just sacrificing myself. So I ran around, tried not to die as much as possible, and I think I ran around in circles for like 10, 15 minutes trying to kill this elite pack of scavengers. And I just cut out most of it. I'm like, no, people aren't going to want to watch that. That's terrible. Oh, man. That's the one good thing about doing that in video format and being able to edit out that stuff. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. There's a black spot there, but I don't think it's going to be in that direction. It's probably down here, maybe? Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Ashlyn. Yeah, in this video, the killing the zombie. Yeah, it was in the very beginning of the whole thing, and for anyone else that hadn't seen it, it was at the very beginning of this whole thing, and I didn't really have a build yet, right? I just had Impale and a generator, and even though it was on Expert, the enemy had a whole bunch of health. He had like 500-600 health, and I'm only doing like 10 or 12 at a time. Actually, I think he may have had 1,000, and everything else around him had 500. He had like minions with 500 health, and I'm doing like 10, 12 damage. And I'm running around in circles on that one. So I've had that happen on the Witch Doctor and this character. Or I was just running around in circles, and it was just waiting for the generator, right? Because my biggest damage was going to come from Impale. And so I just kept running around in circles, avoiding getting hit, throw the dagger at him. It was neither the most interesting thing to watch, nor was it really the most interesting thing to do as a player. Certainly, was it a challenge? Yes, but it wasn't... It was more time-consuming than really difficult in terms of challenging my skill as a player. Alright, let's go ahead and get a turret down.
My hatred is too low.
Kind of backing myself into a corner so I can do more damage with the poison bombs. This is one time where a scavenger type of enemy is actually helpful, because these guys are chasing me and actually running into the poison bomb. Oh, what now? Another plan. Lai Yui's Taiji. That's a Daibo. Okay. You know, every time I see the name Daibo, I instinctively rate it as Diablo. I'm like, it's a legendary Diablo! What? Just reading it fast. Alright, anything good here? Nope.
My friend was patrolling the depths before the breach.
We shall look.
Already halfway to the next level, that's pretty cool. I'm thankful for strafe in situations like this where those enemies can run up on you and blow up.
Vengeance!
Vengeance for Zul'jin.
Not enough hatred.
Now these guys, evasive fire is perfect for those guys. Oh sure, they've got that one-hit kill mechanic. You just backflip out of the way. Alright, I'm going to use my shadow power here. Pop down a second turret. I have custom engineering, so let's just go ahead and pop a third one down here in a second. There we go. There, I got 3 turrets. Not bad. This whole random thing has actually given me some neat builds and things to try that I'd never really considered. Like this whole evasive fire thing with the parting gift. I never tried evasive fire after they changed the mechanic. Now that it only volts you back like a step's worth. And it's actually fun to play with now. I didn't quite like it before. Now I do. I never liked the original mechanic of it. The whole cast volt, it basically cast volt. It would just knock you back so far, and it could end up screwing you sometimes.
Vengeance!
I mean, even now, if you're not careful about where you're aiming, you could possibly put yourself in a bad position. Ooh, hello. Ugh. Strength? Strength! Monk? Witch doctor? What is this? Strength? Munch? Munch? Monk? Witch doctor? What is this? Monk? What am I going to do if I get a melee weapon that I have to use? Yeah, because that's a good question, because I've been considering that, because so far I've avoided melee weapons because they've all been regular. They have not been legendary. So what I think I'm going to do is put in every build that I can possibly use with a melee weapon. Because there are a good handful of abilities you can use with melee weapons, including Impale, and I know grenades. And what I'll do is I'll throw them all into the generator as is, because if I do it with the normal skills, there's a chance that I could end up with a build that won't be functional at all. And I'd rather avoid that, because then that's just not fun for anyone. And we'll see how it works. So probably what'll happen is I'll end up with grenade for sure, because I don't think any of the generators, hungering, entangling, bolas, evasive, no, I don't think any of the others will work with a melee. So I have considered that.
Thank you, Straight.
Bolas? Huh. I didn't think bolas would. That's cool. I'll give it a test. And try out anything, you know, try it out to make sure I know everything that does and doesn't work.
All of my lessons and all of my spells were just for this trial.
Minions. My brothers grow impatient within the Soul Stone. Yes, I can hear them, even down here. Their voices are so pitiful and small that they almost amuse me. Yet, they are my prize, not the Nephilims, or the girls for that matter. This is not her time. This is the age of sin.
Oh, what have we here? A forward barracks.
Do you see that enemy over there? Let us cleanse it from this land.
Not ready yet.
Oh, hello.
All has fallen.
Just before build time, we get a legendary belt. Looks like a standard belt. String of ears. Dex, vital, regeneration, evasive fire. Very nice. Evasive fire damage increase. This will be quite nice right now. Of course, build changing is coming up, so it might or might not still be useful. It's got stat increases across the board, so that's good. So, for the sake of transparency, can I use it? Yes or no? Yes. Excellent. Not doing too bad, considering random number generator, and I've got a legendary in my amulet socket, my gloves, my belt, and of course main hand, offhand. I'm actually sitting pretty here, and I've got a really good character going for me right now. Man, to think, just every time I look at that and how many legendaries I have at this level, I just keep thinking about back to the release of Diablo 3 and how legendaries were so hard to come by that you didn't sometimes find one until level 60, and then when you did start finding them, they typically were worse than anything you already had. It was such a sad state of affairs back then. I mean, I still enjoyed the game greatly, but man, was finding items a chore. I certainly enjoy it much more now than I did then, but Even back then, I could find enjoyment in it. It was just... There's a floating lamp. Alright, it is build
I need
time.
to go back.
So I'm going to go clear everything out, give the blacksmith my plan. It would be nice if some of these plans rolled over to my main character, but since my main character's not hardcore, like these plans or stuff are going to be separate from him. That's something I find interesting. I think that if you found something on hardcore, it should also, like a pattern, it should give it to your softcore as well, but not the other way around, obviously. Anything on softcore shouldn't be given to hardcore. But that's just a minor inconvenience, so it's not a big deal. Plans drop pretty frequently nowadays anyway. How do you? Hello, welcome. Welcome to the random hardcore stream. Matter of fact, you came at just the right time. We're about to do a new build. New level, we've got 45, which means we got a new passive. We've got Grenadier. Go ahead and throw that in here. And throw that into my list. There we go. Alright, so, new random build. Once again, no generator. Chakram, Spike, Rapid, Elemental Fan of Air. Looks like Entangling will be the one we'll be picking. Alright, so from there, Chakram, Spike Trap, Rapid Fire. Elemental Arrow, Fan of Knives. Oh dear. I can already tell this is going to be awkward. Oops. Oh my god, look at all that red. Look at all the red. That's not good. This is why I force a generator, because that's not good. Oh man. Okay. Basically what it looks like is I'm going to have to see if there's any abilities that don't overlap so I can use them in various situations. And the big contributing factor here is going to be my passives and what runes I get. So let's go ahead and start with the passives, since we just got Grenadier. Cole, Night Stalker, Grenadier. Bloody hell. Call the Weak, Night Stalker. That one. Grenadier. Damage of grenades by 10%. Explosion sides of grenades. So if I don't have any grenades, that's going to be useless. Hey, but upon death, I drop a giant grenade that does 1,000 weapon damage. That's awesome. Except I'm hardcore, so I guess that's just my ultimate middle finger to whatever killed me, because after that, I'm done. At least it has those other parts, right? Because Grenadier would be terrible for hardcore if it didn't. Alright, I've got 4 runes here, so let's see what runes I get to use. Chain Gang, okay. 4 enemies, so I can slow more enemies, so that works with Call the Weak, that's nice. Night Stalker's restored discipline, so Night Stalker is useless to me right now. I actually think Grenadier is going to be useless to me as well, because I don't think anything throws grenades. There is a rapid fire rune that does, but I don't think I have it unlocked yet. So, honestly, I've probably got 2 useless passes here. Rune number 3. Serpentine, that's a good one. Number 2. Echoing Blast, increase explosion damage, okay. And unfortunately, Bombardment, which is the grenade one, is not until later. So, yeah, Grenadier is going to be completely useless. 5 runes here. Fire support. While channeling, launch 2 homing rockets every second. Not bad.
Should I find some new attire? These old things are becoming so small.
Ball lightning. Fan of daggers. Enemies hit are stunned for 3 seconds. Fan of knives damage turns to fire. Okay, so it's stun. Alright, so good news is I can use at least 3 of these things, right? I'm already thinking in my head there's 3 things I can do right here. Oh man. This is gonna be awkward. I'm gonna basically have 3 skills I use and that's it. Alright, Chain Gang is pretty obvious. Chakram, I think, is going to be obviously my primary spender because it does 500% weapon damage. It hits a lot of enemies in a long path. Going to be great for multiple enemies. Now, Spike Trap and Echoing Blast is pretty nice, but it's pretty costly on the Hatred. So, I think, ultimately, Ball Lightning is good too, but I think these 2 are the ones I'm not going to use. I think it's going to come down to Chakram, which is a really good amount of damage, 500% weapon damage, hits a pretty good group, and then there's Rapid Fire, I think is going to be the other thing I use for maybe a primary target to do even more. You can see 685, plus it has the rockets. So that is probably going to be the 2 things I ultimately use, although I can occasionally put down a Spike Trap if there's an enemy in the way that I think would warrant it. And then of course we've got this stun on Fan of Knives. So I'm going to go and put that, I think, here. Rapid Fire, that, and then that. So I'm probably not going to use Elemental Arrow. As nice as it is, I think Chakram will be better. Am I at some point going to remove the no rune option? Yes. I think once I've unlocked all the runes for one of the abilities, any ability that has all of the rune options will be acceptable. So basically it's going to go up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. So no rune will be an option until every rune for that skill is unlocked. And then once every rune for that skill is unlocked, it will always have a rune. Is the way I'm planning on playing it at this point. Just because it seems like most skills are pretty much... Not that once you've got that many, it just seems like most skills are not useful without a rune. But since it's still early, some of the abilities are still somewhat useful, even without a rune. Some. All right, I think that's it. So these are both useless to me. Slow or chilled? Do I have anything that slows or chilled, really? No, I don't. Other than entangling. So I'm going to be alternating between entangling and anything else I do in order to maximize damage output. Alright, we hit 45. I don't think I haven't crafted. I was going to craft last time, but I haven't crafted this time. I don't think there's anything better than Deadeye right now. That's a level 41 with 60 base damage. Well, 44. Oh, no, 60 base damage. I remember 60 base damage. 66 on a dagger, but I don't really want to go to a dagger. 65. That potentially could be better. It's the same item level, though. Yeah, I'm not going to bother. Quiver is level 30, so no, we won't make any weapons. How about armor? I can possibly make a better belt. It's kind of awkward. Alright, here we go. Time to see if we can craft. So, do I make a belt? One is yes, two is no. No. Alright. Boots. Do I make a better pair of boots? Yes. Gave me more damage, less toughness. I don't think I want to use that pair. Can I make another? No. Bracers are pretty fine where they're at. Armor's pretty fine. Make a better helm? Oh no. Try again? Nope. Alright, pants are good. Shoulders are pretty good. My Enchantress, she is using a 27. Can I upgrade her? No. Okay, well, that was a quick crafting session. Nothing really happened there. Oh, hi there.
Treasure.
That worked. Oh dear, back up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to replacing this build. I am definitely looking forward to replacing this build.
The barbarians have...
Oh, pretty tiny place, huh? Okay.
These soldiers may have lost heart, but we never will.
That's okay, they can lose heart. Heart's a pretty lame power anyway. Haven't you ever watched Captain Planet?
Only you can defeat this monstrosity.
She starts with that only you thing, and I'm starting to think only I can prevent forest fires? What?
We couldn't hold on. Men are losing hope. The demons numb us endlessly.
Okay, I was expecting an ambush. Apparently it didn't happen. Ooh, we should see if the frozen cave is here. See if I can get another piece of the Staff of Herding.
Do you think we're all just waiting around for you to save us, hero? Well, I've secured this post. I don't need your help.
Please save us. These men are helpless.
There, I can see them. Gods, more coming. What is that? Something's below us. Can't you feel it?
Alright, let's get out of that. I just get 666 gold. Well then. Nothing strange about that. Is there another event here?
It's the hero.
Bridge is unsteady. We must be swift.
All right. Hello, hello. Stun to you, stun to you. I think I used to hate Chakram. But Serpentine is definitely... Serpentine and Boomerang are like definitely the two better ones.
Your valor inspired me.
So I got lucky to find Lyric Shinbone, but have not found any of the other pieces. I suppose that makes sense, right? You never could find all the pieces to the Staff of Herding unless you were specifically looking for them. It's kind of the way it's meant to be, I guess. Yeah. And I haven't seen the, now that I think about it, I haven't seen the black mushroom in ages. Oh dear.
Show them what you're capable of.
I'll just start throwing some chakrams. If I keep throwing chakrams and alternate with entangling, I can increase the damage they take. Oh, pants!
That's what I have trained for. I will not fail you. I will follow you to the end, to the burning pits where the demons smolder and rage.
Oh, those hammer jammers. They look like hammer jammers. They are hammer jammers. And they are not, well, no, they are better if I compare without gems. I lose healing, but... Is dual wielding worse than using a quiver? You know, that really depends on what you get. Because some of the one-handed crossbows can be really good. But not only that, but sometimes some of the... It depends on if you have a really good one-handed crossbow for your alternate, or if you get some really good two-handed weaponry. The real big benefit to dual wielding is that you get two, if you've got two weapons with sockets, to give you the emerald with the additional critical hit damage, and that is considered to trump most things. Is the emerald in a weapon, but some of the quivers are just as good depending upon what you get, especially with some of the secondary affixes that some of the legendary quivers might have. Some of them can be quite useful, increasing the number of penetrations on your shots, or in my case, I had one that increased the piercing chance of Hungering Arrow, and I could make a pretty decent build out of that. Alright, so let's just very quickly see, can I use these pants? Yes. So I'll have to go and put some gems into that. I think for now I'll go ahead and put my diamonds. So I mean, yeah, the big caveat there to anything is, like, it really depends on what you find and how you're building. And now even more so, it depends on your gems as well. Because if you've got legendary gems, certain legendary gems are better with two-handed weapons, such as the ones that put down bleed damage or put down poison. I happen to be using two one-handed crossbows, so I'm not using those. I'm using the ones that increase damage overall. But those gems that do like bleeding damage and things like that, they don't go off of weapon DPS. They go off of weapon damage, pure damage, raw damage, which is something that Diablo has needed for a while, honestly. Most skills are based off of your DPS in some way, because they'll trigger the Caverns of Frost are here. I might actually get it, the Jittering Gemstone. Give me one moment, though. I'm going to pause for just a brief moment. But it really depends there. And I really like the idea that there are some things better for two-handed for big hits. Because that was something I was, when I first started playing on my Barbarian, I thought was going to happen. It was going to be, man, some skills are going to be really great for two-handed weapons, some skills are going to be great for dual wielding, and it turned out every skill was pretty much useful in some way just because of the way they did their damage. As far as using two of that crossbow, I can't do that because they're unique. You can't wear two of the same legendary item. I have been checking every now and then to see if I could find a better crossbow compared to my quiver, though. Give me just one moment. Should be just take 1 minute here. All right, and we're back. So, Tyrant. Let's see if we get Chiltara. And once again, I love the fact that my chains are refreshed no matter what I hit. As long as I hit something with that ability, it refreshes them. So they're constantly taking more damage and constantly being slowed. Alright, let's switch to this. There we go.
Do you see that enemy over
Oh
there?
dear.
Let us cleanse it from this land.
Does that hurt? Nope. Got my hopes up for a second there. I got 3 stacks of Nephilim Glory here. It's pretty cool. I love it when you get 3 stacks of this and just start getting golden explosions everywhere.
Feel my wrath.
%35 of the way. Daddy needs a new build. Okay, there's part 2. Now that I think about it, I think she's supposed to show up in part 2, so there's still a chance. There's a non-zero chance. Alright, here we go.
Do you want more?
This is starting to hurt a little bit.
Feel better now.
Some of these globes.
soulstone is so difficult for Leah. I really must do something.
No. Remember when your sisters were training? You could not intervene then either.
Well, I may have bolstered their spells. Just a little.
Nice. Chiltara, here we go. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Really? Aww. I was hoping. Alright, anything good so far? Armor, it's an upgrade. Put that on. Nothing else really, it looks like. Yeah, upgrades are starting to slow down a bit. Oh, hi. Oh, oh, get back here. Where do you think you're going? Victory! Ha-ha! My bags are full, yes. What have we got? No real upgrades. It's not bad, really. It's a loss of damage, but it's toughness and healing gain. I'm just gonna go ahead and put these in my armor and pick that up. And nope, darn.
I need to go
Well,
back.
let's go back and salvage everything, right? 10% to level.
Darkness awaits you.
That is a powerful foe over there.
Poison fast, huh? Yeah, I got really lucky with that crossbow, I'm thinking, because this is nothing is coming close. Well, welcome back, Black Fox.
Most impressive.
Finally! Oh man, I'm gonna be happy to change out this build.
Look out! They've been circling for hours.
Alright, level 46. Nothing new. New build. Hungering Smoke. Strafe. Chakram Impale Sentry. Lots of red still. But we do have a discipline. Alright, what about passives? Brooding, Night Stalker, Hot Pursuit. Alright, well, not that I like Hot Pursuit that much, but hey, 20% movement speed after hitting an enemy. Night Stalker to give me discipline back when I crit, which is fine since I'm using Smoke Screen. And Brooding for if I have to stand still. Alright, Hungering Arrow. Has 5 runes. Devouring Arrow. Each consecutive pierce increases the damage. I like that one. To combine that with the quiver I was talking about earlier is great, where it increases the chance to pierce. Alright, so we got displacement for Smoke Screen, so I move faster. Stinging Steel. Throw out knives rather than arrows that deal an extra 140% damage on crit. That's kind of neat. Oh, no rune. No rune on Chakram. So I probably won't be using that. Impale. No rune on Impale either. Oh, snap. What in the world? That's just statistically unlikely. Yeah, Black Fox Sentry build's pretty neat. It's a little less active than some other Demon Hunter builds, but it's pretty nice, especially if you like pets. And I've always liked pets. Like in D2, my big main was a Necromancer. But it can be fun. Oh man, statistically highly unlikely, but there it is. There it is. Alright, well, okay, Devouring. My primary spender, I guess, is going to be Strafe, because it does extra damage on crit. Other than that, it's pretty useful. So we'll put Strafe on here. Sentries I'll put here, because sentries can still be useful even without a rune, because, you know, they're extra damage. Impale and Chakram, I guess they're just there. What I might do is, Chakram can go through walls, so I'll put it here, and That'll probably be best. And I don't know if this is worse or better than the last build. I honestly don't know. At least I can do that. Lord Commander Crusaders, yep. Archer, who typically uses Demon Hunters, likes to do range classes, started using a Crusader because of the whole, I don't know if it specifically was Lord Commander, but he wanted to make a pet build for using archers on his Satyr, so it worked out for him. He really liked it.
I have heard whispers of your death.
Now keep in mind there are some bugs right now with the pet builds, with anything using AI, mostly the archers and things like that. Apparently there's a bug with the Uber fights and not getting loot with those abilities that they're already investigating. Man, I'm getting some pretty good crit numbers when it happens. It's just my crit chance is pretty low. 15. I guess that's not terrible. Oh, death to disconnect. That sucks. That's another reason why I'm quite honestly scared about hardcore, and I'm lucky, I think I'm lucky enough that I haven't had any problems, is possible connection problems or crashes and dying because of that. That would just suck. I've heard of some really good hardcore characters dying to stuff like that. Like people that are normally super cautious, that normally don't have any problems, disconnecting and coming back find themselves dead. Turret up. Get a few chakrams through the walls.
This trebuchet is an abomination. We must destroy it.
Oh dear. This build actually isn't too bad. It's got some things to help me get out of it, out of trouble. just smoke screen through stuff and I'm good. So it didn't roll the best, but hey, look at that. Get out of jail free card.
A most thrilling battle.
I do not need my siege weapons to slay you. You stand in the middle of the army of hell. It will crush you.
Then why am I still alive? Scores of your troops have perished by my hand. And now, you're next.
Ah, I feel like I'm in a bullet dodging shoot 'em up now. There's fireballs everywhere.
I could not. Brave, forward.
Then we should fight.
Honor us, Seraph.
You cannot stand before Eldruin.
Man, remember when Eldruin used to actually be pretty strong and more than just a door pick or a lock pick? I remember them nerfing Tyrael because people just use him to farm experience because he was just too strong. Experience and items. I remember that. But now it's like, hey, look, it's Tyrael, and he's taking forever to kill anything. Oh, hello. At least Tyrael is pretty powerful in Heroes of the Storm. I guess there's that. I'm just waiting for them to add Deckard Cain. Like that, April Fool's Day thing they did when they were going to add Deckard Cain as a playable character in this game. Things like giving him Lornado and stuff like that. Just wait. That's going to be a character in Heroes of the Storm. It's going to happen. I'm going to use Lornado as Deckard Cain. Stay a while and listen to stun them for 2 seconds. Or it could be a channeled stun. Channeled stun, yes. Stay a while and listen. Allow me to tell you of the laundry I did this morning. First, it began with me separating the colors from the whites. I wanted to make sure because I had to use bleach with the whites, and I wouldn't want the colors to run into them. It's especially important in Sanctuary. can get very dirty when fighting the legions of hell. Heroes of the Storm is pretty good. It's very polished for the fact that it's still in what they're considering a tech alpha. Exceptionally polished. I mean, it could be a released product, I think, but there's definitely some functionality that doesn't exist at the moment. They've only just recently implemented some key binding stuff, and the key binding is very crude. The UI looks terrible, so I know it's a first implementation, and they're going to work on adding more. There's also issues, I think, balance-wise still, that they'll work out. A little concerned about pricing issues as well at times, but it's so early in development that things are going to constantly change, so it's like hard to really make a judgment call on what it's going to be like when it finally does come out. Neither one has, wow, neither one of them has intelligence. No. Alright, no. She can't use wands, can she?
That
No.
is not for me.
She does need something, though. She's at has a 127. She needs something better. Here's a 150, but it doesn't have int on it.
Singular magic, Irena. Who taught you?
The Prophet. He was alive in my era, but I do not know his fate.
The Prophet? I have heard that name before.
Downside to using Strafe is that one of my passes is Brooding, which gives me more regeneration by standing still. Not exactly a very good combo, since I'm moving around a lot. Here we go, Siegebreaker. Having sentries for this fight is going to be kind of nice, considering that Siegebreaker has a percentage-based reflect on him. So that's going to be pretty helpful to have sentry for this fight, since sentries don't typically proc reflect damage.
"20 years ago, Bale was loosed upon the world.
He besieged the barbarian capital of Cesseron and used treachery to access the Worldstone Chamber, circumventing the three ancient guardians, Talik, Modok, and Korlik. In the end, he succeeded in corrupting the great artifact. Though Bale was slain by heroes, his damage was irreversible.
Okay, let's get a second sentry down because he's taking a while to kill. Oh, is this better for you? Oh no, that's demonic essence. Derp. It just looks similar, doesn't it? Well, that's that. Alright, one more slot over here.
Help me! I feel a bit crispy around the edges, but I'm fine now, thanks to you.
Well, it's kind of pointless though, because I have no need of him. Because he won't follow me into here.
Eldruin will destroy the demonic seal protecting this gate.
Stand behind me, Tyrael. I'll protect you.
Justice be done.
Oh, he doesn't have his reflect damage in this difficulty mode, apparently. Okay, well, never mind then. This won't be too bad. Or does he? No, apparently he does. I'm just regenerating it too fast. Because I'm seeing damage numbers pop up on me when I... Yeah. Ah, hey, it popped my smoke screen, but it wasn't enough. He still grabbed me.
At last, the beast has fallen.
A victory for the ages.
I come with
I know it.
then I must destroy.
Oh, here we go. Damage, toughness, fan of knives damage.
You've killed one of my playthings. Now, you have my undivided attention.
Well, that's good so far. Let's see. I am thinking that at this point, I'm probably going to take a break for the night. Got through Gom and Siegebreaker. That's not too bad. Good progress. Just moving on to Halls of Sin. And getting into Asmodan. We can do that next time. I think we're looking pretty good. Let me go ahead and open up another slot. And let's get... Shin up to 10 at least.
Thanks to that demon hunter, you can finally get some rest.
That was good. That's feeling pretty good. Level 46, not too bad. I'm not sure if I'll hit 50 before Asmodan. I'm kind of hoping to hit 60 right around when I kill Diablo so that I can go from 60 to 70 with Act 5. I'm hoping. Might be cutting it close. It's hard to say. I mean, there's definitely a lot to go before Asmodan. I'm pretty sure I'll get to 47, possibly 48, but I don't know beyond that. And Act 4 is pretty short, so you really don't level that much in Act 4. Not if memory serves. Alright, so next time I'll only have 30% to level, and then I can get a new random build. That'll be fun. Everything's looking good. I mean, honestly, like I said, I've been pretty favored so far of several random legendary items coming my way. It's definitely felt fairly easy with these items. I mean, especially since Deadeye. So we'll have to see how it picks up, especially after Diablo. That'll really be a turning point if I get to increase the difficulty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all once again for coming by. I always do appreciate you guys watching and for joining in with the conversation, of course, too, because that makes it more interesting, I think, not only for me, but for you guys as well, to keep the conversation going. So, all right, you all have a great night or morning, depending upon where you are in your neck of the woods. I'll hopefully see you next time.